Okay, so I have a little afternoon project from my wife, Sarah. If you can see this, it's to make a welly boot rack. So I'm going to show you how to make a welly boot rack. So what you'll need is a couple of lengths of old board. I've got a couple of bits of deck in here, as you can see. And then I've marked it up every 6 inches. So what we're going to do is basically pop a pole in there, cut, and then that's what you hang your welly boot on. So you'll need some poles. Got these from Tool Station for a couple of quid each. A welly boot just to test it out. Either a pencil, set square, hammer, tape measure, drills and drill bits, and obviously a saw and your safety specs. So we're going to cut this up, ready, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I've just clamped up the 2 pieces of timber here. I've cut them to length, clamped up, and if you have a look, we've just been marking the centre for our poles. So every 6 inches apart, and mark the centre. So I'm just going to drill those out, and then we'll be good. I've clamped the 2 together just so that we can go through both sides in the 2 planks, and they're exactly the same. Okay, so now pilot drilled all 6 holes. Just going to separate them, and then that gives me, haven't gone all the way through yet, that just gives me the markers ready for the bottom one. So there we go, I've got my markers there. Hey presto, our 6 holes ready, and I'll just drill this one and we'll be done. Holes all drilled, as you can see. Holes all drilled there, ready, and we've got 2 matching for the bottom. So I'll grab my welly as a tester. I'm just going to measure how deep it needs to be. So at least a foot, at least, and my poles, which I'm going to cut to probably just over a foot, and then that, each pole will go in the hole, secured in, and then the boot will go on top. So we're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, so I've measured my welly, and I'm going to have it just over a foot, get it, a foot, but about 18 inches up, and then I'm going to cut 2, 3, probably about 8 in there in total, and then I'm going to have 2 either side, which are just slightly shorter for some smaller wellies. So I'm going to cut all these up now, and then we will take it from there. And just find my goggles. Just down here, that's it, lovely. Goggles on, and away we go. Okay, so I've got our 2 with the holes in, and I've also just cut exactly the same length 2 blank ones. Just because obviously once you've got the boots on, it can be very heavy, so we want the base to be quite heavy. So what I'm going to do is literally pop that one on top of that one, and that gives us a solid hold all the way through the base. So I will start to glue that together and screw that together, and then we'll come back. Okay, so as you can see in here, if you want to have a look at the camera in here, I've got glue from the underside all in ready to take our dowels. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop that one in there, and it's a nice snug fit. You don't want it too loose in there. And we're going to get it in the hole. Let me do this one in the middle. You want to whack it right in. Okay. Boom, 1. And we'll do that for the rest of them. Okay, so that's all of our back posts in there, nice and strong. And then we're going to turn it over. So this is why we did 2 together. You can see. So I just pop that in there, and then we're going to drive a screw. Got 1.5" screws straight in there to join these 2 together. So I'll just do that now. Right, that's that all screwed in now, so we're just going to turn it around, and that's the first side done. Just test it out with already. Voila. Okay, so I just had some 4x2 lying around, so what I'm going to do is do this, cut 45-degree angles at each end. They're about 18 inches long. So I'm just going to do that on this end, and then I've got a couple of nice legs to go on each side just to keep it up off the floor. Okay, so I've got my little noggins. I've measured down just to grab the end of the deck board, and that's going to go on the end like that, just to finish it off and give it a couple of feet. So we're going to screw that on now, and then we should be almost there. Okay, so here we have it, the final finished, almost finished, just needs a bit, taking the labels off and paint it whatever colour you want. But we can test it out. It's nice and solid, it's off the ground. We can place your boots on and get it on, and then voila. 1 boot rack out of a few, and obviously you'd fill that up, but 1 boot rack out of a few decks of plank and a couple of broom poles.